what we're doing at Pennsylvania Stands Up in 2022 is we are largely rebuilding and defending American democracy from the ground up. The places where we are organizing are places where there are a lot of people that have never had someone knock on their door and ask them about what issues are important to them, have never been involved in a democratic process to vote for a candidate that they believe in.
One of the things that we found is that folks are not happy with politicians, period. So starting conversations by talking about voting for Democrats can be a road to nowhere. What really moves people is having real conversations about issues that actually affect them and their families and their communities day to day.
As we're doing this work, it's not about convincing people to come over to one side or convincing them to come to the other. It's about knowing that this is something that affects all of us. Our message is incredibly popular. It just is. We believe that everyone deserves the chance to thrive.
So for a number of reasons, it's very, very important for us to maintain the governor's residence. If we had not had Governor Wolf over the last 8 years with the current makeup of our legislature, I can't even imagine the kinds of laws that would have been passed here.
One of the front runners on the Republican side for governor is someone who was at the January 6th insurrection. So we have to be clear that the people who are vying for power on the Republican side are trying to end American democracy. And if we don't win in 2022, that could potentially happen with an overturning of the election in 2024. I believe the stakes are high enough that if Democrats do not win in Pennsylvania, 2022 could be the last free and fair election in the United States. In 2020, Pennsylvania Stands Up had about 60,000 deep conversations with voters that moved them on their choice for the presidential election. Joe Biden won Pennsylvania by 47,000 votes. So we are talking to the voters that are on the fence in these rural, urban, suburban counties. And the conversations we have can make the difference between a Republican or a Democrat being in office.
Our electoral door goal is about 300,000 doors that we want to knock on just for the election.
One way you can put it is right now a door knock costs about $8 per door because that includes the software to get the list, that includes the time for the organizer to train the volunteer, and now it also includes the PPE required to make sure to knock those doors safely. And so we need the money earlier so we can start talking to people and build relationships with them before election time. So when it's time to turn out and make that vote, it's not a random person knocking on the door, talking down your throat about why you need to turn out. It might even be somebody that voter knows because they've been knocking on doors now for 6 months, talking to voters about issues that are important to them.
What gives me hope right now is the outpouring of support that we have from people across the country who are also invested in Pennsylvania, whether they're in San Francisco or Washington State or Washington, D.C. The support that we're getting from people across the country who understand just how important Pennsylvania is really giving me hope for this year and what can happen after this year.
I would say our message from Pennsylvania Stands Up to Action SF is the state of our democracy is in peril, and it's going to take all of us to save it. And we need your support. Like, we are part of one united country. And if we want to stay that way, we need you with us.